Hello. Today we're going to take a look at a game that I don't like, and in this review we'll also talk about maybe the value of negative reviews, because I've been I've been publishing a lot of excellent recommendations lately, and I don't publish very many bad board game reviews because for a few reasons, actually. The first reason being that the games that I have, the games that I review, I like to keep. And I like to keep and review and promote games that I really enjoy. Now, I could just take every game that gets offered to me without any discretion and just, review them all. But the value that I typically see is I want to be able to provide families with recommendations for games that they're going to enjoy playing with their kids. And yet, it makes me wonder, do people watch this channel and think, well, gosh, does he just like everything? So it seemed like it was time for a negative review. We could talk about what about a game I don't really appreciate. So there's that. Also, how I do things on this channel. This is a pretty small channel. I'm getting very close to 5,000 subscribers, which is excellent, yet in the world of board game reviewers, this is still a pretty small channel. So, typically what I'll do to get the games on this channel is I will either buy them, so I'm spending money on them, or I will write the publishers directly and I will request a game. And usually when I do that, it's because it's already on my radar for some reason. So occasionally somebody will email me and they'll say, hey, we're publishing this game, do you want to review it? And if I am looking at a game that I've never heard anything about before, the first thing that I do, and I respond to people in emails, and I ask for the rule book, and I read through the rule book, and I try to get a sense, is this something I would even be interested in buying in the first place? And sometimes I just decline. Thank you for your offer. I don't really think this is a game for my channel or for my audience. Other times, I just play games on Board Game Arena, which is what we're watching in the background here. This is a Board Game Arena game that's in progress for Applejack. And so today I pulled one up. This is by Uwe Rosenberg, the game Applejack. And it came out in 2022, and this is a tile placing game. Now, there are elements of Applejack that remind me a lot of Patchwork, if you're familiar with Patchwork. And by the way, Uwe Rosenberg is the designer. He comes out with games every year. He's brilliant. He has made some of the classics, Agricola and Le Havre, and many others. A lot of people love Feast for Odin. That's one I'm not a big fan of. But anyway, let's take a look at what's going on in Applejack. So in this game, you are trying to collect honey. And the winner is going to be the person who has the most honey at the end of the game. So we can see on this player's board, they're placing honey, or they're placing tiles. And immediately, whenever you place a tile on the board, you're going to get the honey. If the beehive touches another beehive, you'll get the honey of the lesser value. So if you're looking at these two tiles, beehive is touching a beehive, so in this case this player would have received 4 honey. Not 6 honey, 4, because 4 is less than 6. And in this case, they would not have received any honey because it's not bordering a beehive. But if we look over here, 7 and 6, these beehives are bordering, so they would get 6 honey. So you're placing a tile, trying to get honey from that. That's the first thing you've got going on. Over here is the market where you're going to be picking up your tiles. And there is a die. This little die is called the Applejack. And so it's moving around this spiral-shaped track, much like Patchwork. And when it lands on a space, the player whose turn it is can choose if they want to buy a tile from the left or the right. So since the die is right here, this player can buy the tiles over here, or they can buy the tiles over here. And the price they pay is the price written on the honey. So this tile costs 2, this tile costs 6, this tile costs 6 as well. Now, right off the bat when I saw this, I thought this was weird because the price is printed in multiple places on here. So, it's printed 3 times over here and 2 times over here. And so what's the purpose of that? That doesn't really matter, actually. They could have put in the price. The price has to match the honey. The pricing and the income thing, I found it so strange. I was already kind of kinking my head like, what? Why do they have to put it on the beehives? Anyway, so there's more on these tiles aside from the honey cost, which is also equal to the honey income. And then, of course, you got the location of the honey around these hexagon sides. But then you've got the types of apples. So you're placing apples on this board over here. This is the player's board. And it's creating different areas. So they've got an area here for green apples. These 3 tiles here, here, and here. And then they've got another larger area of these brown apples. Brown, 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 brown. So there's 4 tiles in the brown area, 3 tiles in the red area, 2 tiles in this purple area. So you're counting up the number of apples that are adjacent to each other. Those are an area. Now, why do you want apples to go together? Because every time Applejack moves along this track, like it's about to move over the purple and the orange apple. As soon as it moves over the purple and the orange apple, players are going to collect income for the areas that are together. Now, that means that when this crosses over, this player is going to score their purple areas. So 3 apples over here, and then they've got orange. Let's see. They've got 2 oranges. So they're scoring this, they're scoring this, but then for each area, you subtract the number on Applejack. So Applejack is subtracting 2. Are you following me now? Is this sounding a little tedious yet? So you got to count all your areas. Then for each area, you're going to subtract Applejack. So in this area, we have 3 purple apples, but we subtract 2, so that means 1 honey. And then over here, it's actually, see? First, I thought it was 2 orange apples, but it's actually 3 because this one kind of looks yellow to me, which is also similar to the color of the beehive, but no matter. This is an area of 3 oranges. So we have 3 oranges minus 2 for the Applejack value means 1. So that player would have gotten 2 apples on that turn. You're doing this every single turn, counting the apples in different areas. Now, why does it matter that the apples are together? The apples have to be together because if they're together, you only subtract Applejack once for each area. So, if you have 3 areas with purple apples, then you're going to have to subtract Applejack 3 times. So it's better to just put them all together into one area. That way you subtract less often. That's the whole thing. It sounds like a counting nightmare. It's like a counting game where every turn, everybody just gets to count all their colored things, whether or not they camouflage in with the beehives. Wait, that's not all. If you haven't had enough counting yet, let's go into the next level. So, every time Applejack's got this shape, right? He's going round and round and round. Every time Applejack crosses this, wait, is it the bridge? Oh shoot. Every time Applejack crosses this flower, we're going to do the flower income. We already have apple income. Why do we have flower income? Let's take a look at flower income. You're going to count all of your flowers. So get ready for this. How many flowers are on the board? If you're looking at this board like I'm looking at this board, you're going, oh, there's numbers, there's apples, there's oh, flowers. There's flower. Okay, flowers. 1, 2, 3. Did I miss any? No. Look at it takes so much effort. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 8. That means I get 8? No. That's not what you get. You get 8 multiplied by Applejack. So Applejack's value was 2 at that time, so you would get 16. Now, after the income, Applejack increases to 3. He increases each time. So now Applejack is 3. The next time you go around, count all the flowers, multiply by Applejack again. So you are adding and subtracting by Applejack, or you're adding and you're multiplying by Applejack, and you're doing this every single time that goes around. And then you've got the hexagons that have the beehives in different locations. So when you're buying the tile, you have to crank it different, you put it here, it's gonna, okay, let's just look at this example. They want one that's going to touch these 2 because of the income. Oh, but they placed it so that they didn't get income. That's interesting. I would have thought they would have placed that so that the 4 touches the 6 and get the 4 income. But, I don't know, maybe they're doing something else. Or maybe they're playing for the first time. Anyway, so much to think about. And explaining these rules, the only reason I wanted to explain all of these rules is so that you could hear how ludicrous it all sounds. Counting and matching and colors and Applejacks and multiplying and dividing or minusing, no dividing. Okay, wait, hold on a second. So at the end, what do you think happens at the end? So you end the game and then that's it, right? Like whoever has the most, nope. Then you do apple scoring one more time, and then you don't wait. Oh man, wait, hold on a second. I got the rules over here. You do Applejack scoring one more time. This is real. This is the rule book. Oh wait, yeah, you can see it. Okay, so and then you subtract Applejack again for all the different areas. So here you go. Apples, 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 apples. Subtract, 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 and then you double it. You multiply it by 2 every single time. And then you do... Wait, where's the flowers? And then you do flowers one more time. Oh, here it is at the end. Then you do flowers one more time. And then you look at how many different apples you have. And you add up the bonus. So if you have all 7 different types, you get 35. Or you can get 21 or 11 or 4. So this is like some serious point salad with hundreds and hundreds of points. But just so much counting for, like, what's the payoff? What is the fun in this game? Okay, let me talk about my thoughts on this game. And you know, I'm not saying that the game doesn't have any value. I can see the payoff. I'll talk about that too, and I'll talk about why I don't like it. So first of all, thematically, when I have a game that has this much going on, I want the payoff to happen in the theme. I want something to be meaningful about this game, to be exciting about this game. This is an extremely dry game. There's no vision in here. You're not making an orchard. It's just abstract symbols. It's a very abstract payout. And for a game that's that abstract, I don't want to have this element of luck. I mean, we didn't see this, but when you can't pay for the apples, you flip it upside down and there's sheep on the other side. So you can actually just play it upside down, take the sheep, and the sheep gives you 2 honey. But, you know, clearly as you can see this person playing, you don't want to do that. If you can avoid it, you will. So thematically, there's just very little payoff. Mechanics. If you're going to like this game, you're going to like this game because of... This game's about to end, so let's jump over and just open up another one. Okay. If you're going to play this game, you're going to want to play it because of the mechanics. That's all the game has going for it. But explaining this game and understanding how these mechanics go, it's like silly. The picture of the thumbnail of this video of me just going like, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. This is so dumb. I would say that this is a mechanics-focused game, but the mechanics just are not interesting to me at all. So I would give mechanics a 3. I can see why somebody would give a higher score for mechanics if they, you know, got really into this game, but it is very focused on mechanics. It's just really dumb. I can't grade components. I don't even have a hard copy. See, once again, I'm not going to review this game or request it because I'm not going to want to go through the materials. Strategy. Clearly there's some thinking about this game. And actually, this is where the game is pretty interesting. There's some pretty thoughtful planning about how you put the apples on your board and when you get... and the timing for the income. But the thing that kind of bugs me is that this is a randomized income, but it's still really balanced. You're going to get the income eventually. There's 2 teal apples. There's 2... green apples. Where's the other one? Where's the other green apple? I thought there was 2 of every type. Purple, purple, orange, orange. Oh, there's the green. Green, green, red, red. So there's 2 of every type. So you're going to get the income eventually. But what you can't control is when the locations of these apples changes. So I think maybe strategically what you'd want to do is try to get it so that you have brown apples on your board first, because that income is going to be coming first. And then much later in the game, much later, there's an opportunity to get orange income and yellow income. So maybe what you want to do is, you know, make sure your game is fueled by income from these apples first, and then you benefit from those later. So could be some income planning on that. You're definitely looking at the moves. You don't control where this die goes, though. So on the next turn, whenever this player makes a decision, it's going to land here, and the next player has to decide between here or here. Now, what's interesting is because you can decide on the next hexagon or the previous hexagon, you can actually throw off your opponent. So if the player now had taken one of these two tiles thinking, oh, well, clearly this is what my opponent wants, I'm going to take it from them before they get the chance to take it. That's pretty interesting. I think this would be an excellent two-player game and probably not a very good 3- and 4-player game. But, you can either plan to interfere with your opponent, or you can take these other tiles that your opponent will not be able to access if they're better for you. The tiles are replenished whenever all of the locations have less than 2 tiles on them. It's another thing. And then complexity. For a game this simple, and this is what I don't like, and you probably could already tell from the way I was describing it. For a game this simplistic, that mechanically simplistic, the complexity is ridiculous. This is like a 7 on complexity. It shouldn't be this hard. The game is rated for 8 and up. And while I know a child could understand what's happening here, like, oh, you place this here, and because you place this here, you get this many honeys. Like, they can understand it, but then all of the factors that go into it, all of the things that you're having to think about, honey, flowers, apples, timing, opponent's moves, but it's not intuitive. I love complexity that is based off of a simple rule set, really simple rules, and there's all of this depth. I love that. This feels artificial to me. That's the word. Boom, that's the word. This is artificial strategic depth. They made it more strategic, or he made it more strategic by adding more rules, and the rules don't add to the game experience. The rules just create mechanisms that weigh into the decision making. This is artificial complexity. That's what I'm calling it. Not a game I'm interested in. And that is how I do a negative board game review. So, what value is this? If you watch this entire thing, I mean, what you could tell from the thumbnail that I was going to tell you this game isn't very interesting to me. I guess now you know why, but what do you think of negative reviews? Would you like to hear more of them? Was this fun for you? I don't know, but it's been a while. So there you go. That's what I've got. I'm going to end this stream. Where's the button? Doop. See you guys later. Bye-bye.